Okay, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning. I just woke up and I got changed. And we are gonna go to the gym this morning, so I'm just trying to put myself together a little bit. And yeah, this is my first ever vlog, so I feel so awkward and so weird. But one of the most requested videos that we've had is more behind the scenes, really cool to kind of take you along the business side of things. So kind of showing you a little bit more about our photo shoots, the design process, all the struggles, the tears, the pain. No, honestly though. So I'm typically not a put makeup on for the gym person at all. I probably should be a little more conscious of that, but I woke up with really bad bags under my eyes, so I am gonna put on a little bit of concealer to conceal. So here we go. So yeah, today we have a busy day planned. For the clothing line, we have photo shoot this morning, and then I also have a call with one of our pattern makers that I work with to go over the most recent design, and I'm gonna do a Q&A because we got questions when we submitted the Q&A, and lots of good questions. Some of them were a little tricky, but I think what you guys so far have been the most curious about is the design process. So anyway, YouTube is also new to me, so it's always very humbling stepping out onto a brand new platform and trying to establish a bit of a demographic there. So if you're watching this, thanks for watching this. Okay, I'm all ready for the gym, and I'm gonna grab an energy drink. I have not been drinking caffeine, but you cannot rebrand and scale a business and take out caffeine all in the same year. You can't do it. So yeah, it's back in my life, and I'm honestly so happy about it. I'm not gonna lie. So okay, I just got to the gym, and I am convinced that I go to the busiest gym in the state of Utah. It is packed. I couldn't even find a parking spot. I had to park, well, I waited for someone. I actually looped back around, but I had to park pretty far away. Even then, there was no spots, just going up and down, up and down. There's never any parking. And then you get in there, and then there's no machines, no equipment available. It is so annoying. And if it wasn't so close by where I live, no way I would go. But this is why sometimes going to the gym puts me in a bad mood. Obviously, I'm not entitled to the entire gym, but it just feels frustrating when you want to go and you wake up so early, and it doesn't matter time of day. I've been here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's just as busy. I've been here at 5 o'clock in the evening. It's bad. Mornings are horrible. And I thought that it was just a timing thing, but no, it's just so busy. It's also a new gym, so that probably has something to do with it, but it's so annoying. I look at other gyms all the time, but in Utah, there's not a lot of gyms. There's your main gym, and then there's I don't know, there really is not a lot of gyms. You'd think for how much people work out in this state and how fit everybody is that they would have more gyms. But anyway, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna try and have a positive attitude. I hate waking up this early and then not being able to work out. It happens all the time. But I don't know what the alternative is, so I usually end up just on a mat, off in the corner, and sometimes you can't even get a mat, so then I'm just sitting on the floor doing a HIIT workout or something. But yeah, I'm not gonna film myself in the gym because I promised myself a long time ago when I started working on social media that I would never be someone who films in the gym. I don't care if other people film in the gym, but I don't see that there will ever be a day that I would film myself working out in the gym. So wish me luck. I'm gonna go in, do my workout, and then I have to get home, get ready for our photo shoot. Okay, so I'm back from the gym. As I predicted, it was so busy. So I left early. And then I have been working in my office getting everything ready for the photo shoot. We have a lot of stuff to shoot, so I was working on that most of this morning since I got back from the gym, and then Peyton got up and he's taking a shower and I am making his lunch like a good little wife. Something funny you should know about Peyton is that he's had the same lunch every single day since we got married, and we're coming up on 2 years of being married. Sometimes I put a little extra mayo when I make his stuff because I just feel like he should live a little, you know? So I did make his little sandwich and his popcorners. And yeah, I'm just getting ready. I will see him off in about 10 minutes or so. So he popped in the shower and I'm just making his lunch. I have a meeting today at, oh, my bangs. Oh, girl. I have a meeting today at 12, and that is going to be going over the pattern. I think I already kind of talked about this before, but that's going over the pattern of the newest collection. We are just finalizing it, so the pattern will go into demo. And so I also have in a meeting. Oh gosh, I'm so tired. I also have a meeting with our manufacturer, so I'm gonna pop on a call with her, and we're gonna talk about the demo. So after I talk about the pattern, I'm gonna talk to her about the demo. She has everything she needs. She's ready to go. She just needs to meet with me and talk to me about a couple of things, and then we will be 100% good to go. So I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous, a little apprehensive, just because I feel like this has been such a long process getting this design, specifically this one. It's just had a lot of flaws, and I want it to be perfect. And I pushed this out a year because I didn't want to rush it. I wanted it to be perfect. And so I just demoed and repatterned and resketched and demoed. So I'm so excited for you guys to see it, but I do feel nervous because of how much we've demoed this dress, and I feel like we've nailed it. It feels like perfection now, but it's also been a long time in the making. So I'm very excited about that. I'm a little nervous about those meetings, but I'm also excited to just get the ball rolling. And then I'm currently looking for a photographer. My photographer that I work with is going to be on maternity leave, and she's the only person that I've worked with, aside from like me doing the photo shoots. She's the only other person that's ever done shoots for us. And so I have a lot of anxiety. And so I'm starting now. The shoot is in 2 months, but I'm starting now to look for a photographer specifically that can shoot this campaign, because this is unlike anything that I've ever shot before. And it's a little tricky. And so I really am feeling nervous that our main girl is going to be on maternity leave and I have to find somebody else. But I do think that it's going to be good. I do think that we're going to find the right person, but I'm definitely getting ahead on that. I don't always get ahead on things, but this is absolutely something that I'm going to be getting ahead on. Okay. This is what we're dealing with in the office space. Currently putting together some design, like some outfits for the photo shoot, and I usually do everything in my office where it's chaotic, and I just like put clothes, I like lay them out, and then I take pictures of them so I don't forget, because sometimes photo shoots get so chaotic and frantic that I don't like always remember what look I even had. So I like to have pictures of them. Just putting together some looks, just lay everything out, and sometimes I have like, I'll even hang stuff up over there. And then I take pictures. Sometimes I'll like take selfies in the mirror right here, and then that way I can just have them all set up. But that's pretty much how I get like photo shoot stuff organized, and it's always just chaotic. It looks like clothes exploded everywhere because I just am trying to get the looks, and then I come back and I clean it later. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 30 minutes or so is getting all the clothes packed up, the shoot stuff ready. This is also a little bit for my personal page as well. So it's a little mix of clothing shoot, but also personal shoot. So I'm going to get all this stuff packed up and loaded up, and then I'm going to shower and then get myself ready. Okay, you guys, I just got to the studio. I'll be honest, I'm late, but I'm so tired. I just don't even want to go in. I just feel so tired. And this is something that you don't really get to see that much, but it is so exhausting to be shooting and creating content and designing. And that's like just one element of the whole business. And so I think this is something that isn't talked about as much, that most of the time when you're doing something, building something, you're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel like you want to, but you just get it done. You just do it. And so I do try and rest. Peyton was sick this weekend, so we tried to spend we watch TV and do things that I kind of don't typically do. So I feel a little better about that, but it's just so much work all the time. So right after the studio, I have to go hop on a call with my pattern maker, and she's helping to finalize some details. And then I have to get on another call, and then I have to finish all these website approvals because we're completely changing our website with the new brand. So I do also do this a lot where I'm like, it'll get better. But I am telling myself that now because I'm like, okay, you're doing a complete rebrand. Like, that is going to be stressful. Of course it's stressful. We've completely changed our brand, brand new products, brand new everything. Like, it's so different now. And so I try and keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm so tired and I have to carry all this stuff into the studio. So I'm going to go do that. And then I'm going to film a little bit in the studio, but I typically get so just start working and get a little bit distracted. So I'll try to, but I might forget. Okay, we are done. I am cozy, ready to drive home so that I can hop on my meetings, and I have a quick errand I'm going to try and run, but it's one of those, do I risk it or am I going to be late for my meeting? So, but I definitely think I need to go relax after my meeting and chill out for a little bit. So studio is done, videos are done, photos are done. I feel so much better. It's also really hard doing it without my photographer. I'm used to having her, so when I don't, it's a little tricky doing it on my own. But here we are, back in the cozy clothes and ready to go relax. Okay, I just got home and I'm going to have a little lunch. Sometimes if I'm busy, I just will have these little Amy's meals. I really like the tortellini one and the ravioli one. They're not the most healthy, but they're really good. And so in a pinch, I have some in the freezer. I checked my calendar and I actually have 30 minutes before my meeting with the seamstress. I thought it was at 12, but it's at 12:30, which is such a relief because I was late getting home. I need to do my Q&A. So I think I'm gonna do my Q&A while I'm waiting for the call. I also feel like normally I have more energy. I think since Peyton's been sick, maybe I'm getting a little bit sick or something because I just feel really worn down today. But it's you still have to get stuff done, the show must go on. So I'm gonna have my lunch and then I'm gonna do my Q&A. This is really hard to film and try and explain things, but not make it boring, but then also make it not, I don't know, I don't really know how to do this. But the most requests we have gotten is the behind the scenes. So I guess this is literally behind the scenes. So I'm gonna put this in and then I will be back for a Q&A. Okay, I've got my tortellini and I hate when people eat in videos. I cannot be that person. I hate when people eat in videos. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little business Q&A. I have the questions here that you guys submitted. Okay, so the first question is, what advice would you give somebody who is trying to start a clothing line? I got this question a lot. So I think the advice I would give someone, being where I'm at now, which is like, I feel like we're over the hill of just day in and day out stress. Like if this company was a baby, I feel like we are out of newborn stages of late night feeding, whatever. I don't have kids, so I'm just like making this up. But you know, when you talk to new parents and they're like, oh, you're not going to sleep, you're not going to, you're going to be stressed, you're going to cry. That's kind of how I would attribute a business, a clothing line, at least for me, was that essentially. Like every day was just so hard. And now it feels like we're over that. So that's where I'm at coming from, but we're still new. So I can't give too much advice because I feel like I can't be like, oh, I figured everything out, because I really haven't. I'm still reaching out to friends and people that I know, like asking for advice about things as well. So I'm definitely not expert level, but I can tell you that if I could start from scratch and go back to scratch and like give that person advice, I would say number one, set realistic expectations. It is so easy to look at other people's businesses, to look at other people and be like, this is where we should be. I read a lot of overnight success stories, and I think that was a little bit of the expectation, was like, we're going to sell out in minutes. And when things took a couple months to really gain that momentum, it was like heartbreaking for me. And looking back, it's like a little silly, because I'm like, really, Michael? Like, you thought that that was gonna just blow up? Like, but that's what I was seeing. Those were the people that I was watching, and things like that. So setting those realistic expectations is so important. And then also, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I feel like going into that it's gonna be a lot of really hard work, and it takes time to grow. That's so important. So I would also tell myself to read the book Atomic Habits. I read that end of last year, and it was life-changing. Such a phenomenal book. And it basically talks about how small habits make a big impact. But my favorite part about that book was like this concept that I really needed to learn, was that sometimes it feels like you're not getting progress. Sometimes it feels like you're just same thing over again, and it just started to feel like Groundhog's Day. Like every day of my life was the same, and nothing was really, like, there was no fruits of the labor. But that book really talks about how like you're not successful until you are. So I definitely see that with the business as well, like how you really do have to build that foundation. So set realistic expectations, be patient with yourself. And then some logistical advice is make sure if you're starting a clothing line, it is entering into the gap of a market, not creating what already exists. So create what you wish existed was like my whole mantra of starting the clothing line. And essentially it was based off this idea that I'm also a consumer. If I'm wishing something existed, if I'm wishing something was like a thing, like existed, then there's like other people who also do. That was very hard to say that. I don't know why. But basically, I was like, I wish there was like elevated modest clothing that was a little different than traditional like Utah modesty clothing. Like that was all the stuff going through my mind. So when I created that, there were so many women that were like, oh my gosh, like I've been waiting for this. Or finally someone created a modest clothing line that's like a little different than what already exists. And so that was the gap in the market for me. And it was so crucial that I entered into that gap, because I really believe that if I just started a clothing line, it would have been very different, and probably still could have been successful, but taken a lot longer and probably been a lot harder, because you're competing with something that already exists. But if you can enter a gap in the market, that is the best business advice I could ever give someone, is find what you wish existed and then create that, because probably there's a lot of other people who wish that it existed as well. The next question is, do you get overwhelmed, and how do you manage overwhelm and overworking, etc.? So I used to get so overwhelmed. I don't anymore as much, just because, I mean, I still do. That's probably a lie. I don't think I get as overwhelmed as I used to, but I think I still like will stay up late. I have a lot of sleepless nights. I have a lot of stress, but I don't feel like it's as overwhelming. Like before, my husband had to convince me on a weekly basis, like, not to stop the business. Like, I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. And he was like, you can do it. You can do it. Like, keep going, keep going. And so I really was struggling at some point in time, as probably most of us do in this field. And so because I was struggling so much, I felt like there was just overwhelm where I wanted to quit, and I don't have that anymore. Now I manage it. Now I know how to manage it, and now I know what to do and what not to do. And so I guess I still have the ability to be overwhelmed, but I just am getting better at not being overwhelmed. Experience, probably. What is the most difficult part of starting a clothing line? Everything. Literally everything. Everything. No, in all seriousness, everything. Like, I can't think of anything that wasn't difficult. We also started off manufacturing in the United States. So, well, we still do, but that was like the main thing for me. And that is probably one of the hardest things you can do with manufacturing, is trying to manufacture in the US. I mean, obviously there's other countries it's probably harder, but I don't know. I really don't know. The US is so much is outsourced that there really isn't a lot here anymore. And so it's just really, really hard. That was probably the hardest part, was like just finding somebody to do it, do it the way we wanted to do it. And then also, I think another hard thing was trying to build something out of nothing. Like, nothing existed. I had no blueprint. I didn't even really have a lot of other companies I could base it off of, or other designers, because what I was doing was kind of paving a new way. And so many people in Utah, it's just like so many businesses here are just wholesale. I don't know any that are like designing everything. And so that's why I was like, I don't know like how to base, like, there's just no baseline for me within like the United States. So I think manufacturing was the hardest thing, building something completely from scratch, having no like, I don't know, just having nothing. Like, I literally started pen to paper this whole business and just figured it out as I went along, stumbling and struggling, but figuring it out. Next question, what are you the most proud of? I am the most proud of keeping the standard of the business. So manufacturing in the United States was big for me. I don't judge people who don't manufacture in the United States, but the labor laws of the United States are very different than the labor laws other places. And so you just don't have as much control when something is outsourced outside of your country. Completely different labor laws, unions, whatever they might be. So that was really important to me, to like really know the people, and all of our manufacturers I know, and like personally. And so it's not, yeah, that was important to me. And, I'm really proud just for not like giving up. This was so hard, just like so hard. And I can't count the times that I was like, I literally cannot do this. Like, what am I doing? There's a very interesting element to like paving a way that you haven't seen modeled before, that people don't talk about. And that is that, besides that you have no idea what you're doing, that there's really no, like, you start to question your sanity. You start to question, is there a reason nobody does it this way? And I like went into it being like, I'm going to be the first one to do this, or I want to be the first one, or I want to be one of the few who do this. And then I felt like pretty early on, there was this realization of like, oh, this is why nobody's doing this. This is why nobody's manufacturing in the United States. This is why nobody's doing this, and this. This is, just like the cost of things alone. I mean, our profit margins are drastically different than our profit margins would have been had we outsourced. And a lot of it is about money. And there was just a lot of that I'm just really proud that I never chose something different. And I felt like I never wanted to say, okay, well, if we're going to make more money, we need to do this, even if I don't believe in that. So I'm proud to have kept the standard. I'm proud of our quality. I'm proud that I put my heart and soul into everything. I'm proud that we're not fast fashion. I'm proud of all those things. Okay, I just have a few minutes left. So the next question is, where do you get your inspiration? I got a couple of these. So inspiration is for me, in feeling. I think fashion is a feeling, and I've really started to lean into the emotions of fashion, and I love that element of fashion. It's one of the only forms of expression that's not like verbal, or I don't know how to say that. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but like what you wear says a lot about how you're feeling. What you wear says a lot about how you want to be perceived and portrayed. And so to be able to do that in fashion and expression is really special. And so for me, I get a lot of inspiration by the emotion of things, and that's more recent. That's our new designs 2025. So you'll see some of that more. I definitely started to lean into simplicity. I've been very, very inspired by something that is simple and powerful at the same time, and that can coexist. And so in some of my designs, I really started to lean into simplicity, and that something that's simple can still be a statement. Just because something's not loud and obnoxious doesn't mean it's not still very beautiful. So I really started to lean into emotions. I really started to lean into like just the elegance of things and just how I like wanted to portray fashion. So that's my main inspiration. Honestly, I think like everybody, I'm a Pinterest scroller. I'm always looking around for inspiration. I definitely get very inspired by traveling, architecture, very inspired by that. But I think overall it's emotion, it's lifestyle. Those are the types of things that bring inspiration to me. I'm going to hop on my call. So while I'm on this call, I'll answer one more question while I'm getting this call pulled up. And we get a lot of questions about manufacturing, a lot. And I don't know if it's just because people are like, how are you doing in the US? Or they like want an idea of how to do it. I don't know, but I will say that, that was the hardest thing. We researched. We had so many trial and error, so many things that went wrong, and we just kept at it. I honestly don't even feel like I can talk about manufacturing because it was honestly like felt traumatizing. I mean, I couldn't even tell you stories of our disasters with manufacturers. For privacy reasons, I won't, but it was so bad, so hard. But I think just research, it takes time. It really does. I wanted to have like a quick fix, quick manufacturer. We just didn't get that. It took us about a year to get a really good manufacturer. And even since, we've changed for various reasons. And, but I feel like who we have now is very, very good. And so I think a lot of it is just research. It took us so long. I probably interviewed maybe 70. I mean, it was a lot. Okay, let me get on here initially. And then I'll pick up back as we sort of get chatting.
Point on the hips, and then shape it a little bit down and have it opened, and the bottom normal. And I think it will be pretty.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if the fabric is heavy, it will have some flare when you are walking and all of that. So I think
because I do want it to kind of be like, because it's a formal dress, so weddings, bridesmaids is like the idea. So I do kind of like the idea of like, if you're dancing, like maybe you'd get a little bit of flow to it, like a little movement. I like that. Yeah. Okay, I am so excited. I feel so much relief. This is going to be so amazing, and I just love it. I love this pattern. I love these pieces, and I just chatting with her and talking with her and like really seeing it is just, I'm so excited. I am over the moon. We have worked on this pattern for almost a year, and really did collection for almost a year. So to be able to have it just done and have a deadline and a date and a launch date, I just feel absolutely over the moon about. So I feel so much relief. Now I have to meet with the manufacturer because we need to figure out a deadline as well. So now that I have the pattern deadline, I can get the deadline for the demo from the manufacturer, and then also the like launch deadline. So like, okay, will we have everything by this day? So I'm feeling so good about this. I think this is going to be probably the best piece or collection I've ever put out. And that makes me so happy. So the only thing I have left to do is colors. So this is the color board that I am working on. And essentially I have to pick colors. This is also so hard, you guys. I don't think this is something that like, I don't know, I never really heard about before from designers, but picking colors is probably the hardest thing to do. And so I am so excited about this. Oh, I just am like giddy because I feel like it's finally in production, and just having this pay off, I'm literally gonna cry, you guys. I feel like having this all paid off just feels like all the hard work, because it was pretty brutal for a while, and just to be able to see this and to be able to look at the colors and pick the colors and know that we are on track for this launch. And it's like just so elegant, so beautiful. I'm literally want to wear this collection every single day of my life, and I really, really hope that you guys love it so much. So I am going to hop on a call, and then it's already, I think, almost 3 o'clock. So by the time I get off that call, it'll be 3. And I have so much to do. So I was going to relax and like take a nap, but I also feel like I need to get stuff done and clean my office for one, and make dinner for Peyton. I have no idea what to make. I think that's the hardest part about like getting married or growing up, is cooking. Like, oh, who wants it just like every day? You're like, what am I gonna make today? Oh, and then the next day, what am I gonna make? And then the next day, what am I gonna make? So anyway, I'm beaming. Nothing is gonna get me down today. I should knock on wood for that statement, but finally gonna be everything that I've been dreaming it would be, and praying it would be, and hoping it would be. And this is the thing about starting a clothing line, is 90% of the time you want to cry, and then 10% of the time you want to cry of happiness. So 90% sadness, 10% happiness. That's being a brand owner. That's the ratio. So okay, I'm going to sign off because I just don't think that I'm going to be able to get all my stuff done if I'm trying to be vlogging. So signing off at 3 p.m. But I will probably go prep dinner really quick, try and get things all cleaned and ready to go for the evening. Tomorrow I have another shoot tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be working, and we're working on the website complete remodel, and just busy. This week is just mad, but I'm feeling so happy. So thanks for watching my first ever vlog. This was honestly terrifying. I'll be completely honest with you. This was so scary. I watch vlogs and I love them, but I feel like trying to do them, I just felt like such a poser.